make sure it's all set up. Okay, I'm really excited to see that we now have a little bit over 100 members now in Trader Paradigm. It makes me really excited to see how many people are looking for answers and how to create a focus on what they're doing. Please be aware that our room is not to be promoted in anybody else's trading room. Don't be going into Sykes' room and talking about Trader Paradigm and the challenge chat room or the penny stock and silver chat room or investors underground or anything like that. The main reason is because they'll think we're trying to steal their members, and then they will blacklist the people that they think are who are responsible for that. And I have spent a lot of money with Tim Sykes and Investors Underground and everybody else, and I don't want to lose access to all my DVDs. So I've heard of other people this happening to, and so I just want to make sure that this doesn't happen to us. Nobody in this room is a successful trader yet. I know that all of us are working to get to that point. So that's kind of like we're not here to be gurus. We're just other traders who have had more experience and sharing what we've been able to do. So I hope you guys understand that. I hope you guys respect that. And if you guys are talking or wanting to spread the word about what we're doing in here, send it a private direct message to somebody. Don't be all public about in other people's trading chat rooms. So yeah, because I know we're all making friends, you know, in all the different rooms. So hope you guys understand that. Cool. Yeah. All right. So you guys can hear me though, is that right? Yep. Yeah. All right. All right, let's get this webinar started. So this is a pretty interesting saying. Everyone is a critic until they step in the arena. Everybody can sit there and talk about trades after the fact or what's going on or how you do this, how you do that. You know, but once you actually get in the arena and you're the one who's performing, that's when the mistakes happen and everybody can be able to be criticizing you of what you're trying to be able to do. So just kind of remember where everything comes from when you guys are listening to people talking about either what you're doing or what you're trying to be able to achieve. So remember, we are very unique individuals of what we're trying to get through and trying to get to the other side of this. And most people don't even try to achieve something like this or even try to get into it. So. Okay, so this is going to be my year in review of me as a trader. Not so much about the actual trades themselves, the wins, the losses. We will all make money, we will all lose money, but this is more about the experience of trying to put all this together. I know a lot of you guys have spent a large chunk of money. I know some people have been in the Tim Challenge, which is approximately $8,000. You guys have bought STT Pro software, which is another like $2,000. You guys have laptops that you've dropped on this. You guys have bought TVs to be able to, or monitors to be able to do on this. So to say that you guys haven't spent a chunk of change on this is an understatement. You know, we have definitely spent a lot of money to be able to get to this point with our trading. But you know, this is just like the basic stuff that we need to be able to be in the trading process. So I'm not going to go over any particular trades. I'm not going to go like, this is my wins, this is my losses, all that type of stuff. This is more about the evolution of the learning process, the building your knowledge bank to get to become a profitable trader. So where was I at a year ago? A year ago, I was ending my STT Pro membership. I still felt a very, very loss in the process. With the STT Pro membership, I did learn quite a bit. I learned the OODA loop from Tim Bowen. I also learned about the consistency that Tim Bowen does, and his excitement about trading with stocks. As a very new trader, you're very uncertain, especially when you're spending X amount of money and you don't know where you're going. You're looking for direction. You're looking for the mentorship of saying, this is the process of the best way to go about it. You joined Tim Sykes, you joined the STT Pro, and in the belief that you're being headed in the right direction. And a lot of it is really good information. The problem is that you have a splinter in the way things are being taught and presented to you. Tim Sykes' trading system is being taught in a very particular way, and then when you're working with Tim Bowen doesn't trade any or even talk about any of the stuff that Tim Sykes is doing. But he does talk about the 52-week breaks. He talks about earnings winners, that type of stuff, but that has nothing to do with the stuff that you learn in the DVDs or what you're looking at all the stuff you're spending your time on. So when I left STT Pro, I just got done spending 2 years with them. That's a ton of money with them, and I felt uneasy. I felt scared about the next steps because I didn't know where to go or which way to direct myself. So it was definitely an uneasy feeling and of letting go, because I had that lifeline and now that lifeline was disappearing. And talking about frustration, though, when you've spent that much money and you're still not making money, right? And it's a hard one. One of the biggest things is we all have a reason why we started trading. All of our reasons differ from so many different point of views. Either we're looking for a better life, we don't like our day job, we either are looking for some way to build a retirement of some sort, we're looking for a change. My reason for trading is out of more of a desperation of a situation that has been brewing within my own business. And no matter how much I've tried to make changes or to be successful with my business, it always seems to be the same issues and the same problems. And so it was me venturing out onto something else that is not baking related. And it was for me to be able to find a way to solve the financial problems of my company. And in May of 2016 is when I picked this up. And you see, as you go through the process, you see these people who are getting it faster than you or quicker than you, and you're always asking, like, how are they doing that, or how quickly? How is it that they're picking up so quickly? Majority of most people don't pick up stock trading as quickly as Roland has done, as quickly as Dux has done, Jack Kellogg, a lot of different people that we're seeing being promoted as being a successful trader and how quickly they're doing it. The reality is It takes a very long time to be able to become a successful trader. Depending on what your why is going to directly affect your trading process. My why is out of desperation to save my company. And I'm willing to do anything to be able to do that. I also know that my mind works in a very different way than most people. And because of that, I knew that I had to absolutely absolutely be dedicated to trading. To the educational process of trading. There was no way that I would be able to pull this off unless I was purely dedicated to watching the DVDs and the videos and trying to analyze this stuff. The problem is when I joined with limited amounts of money, and a lot of us have limited amounts of money, and so I was piecemealing my process. So I took my IRS refund that I got, and I bought How to Make Millions with my DVD, and that was my first DVD, and I was watching all these hours of content in there. And then after that, I bought another one. So that's kind of how I started, was with my IRS refund from taxes. And then after that, the next thing is I saw that there was the conference in Florida. So I immediately went out to the conference in Florida to be able to get connected and stuff. And then when I got there and I found out the cost of the 10 challenge and then the Stocks to Trade Pro, it seemed that the best idea was to join Stocks to Trade Pro because it was the cheaper of them. So when you're getting into this system, it's very splintered and you're trying to make heads or tails of everything. There's no like clear defined path of how to go through this process, right? There's no like, okay, here's your beginning, here's how you need to focus on how to get there. So for me, it was just me trying to piecemeal this together. And this is kind of like how my life has always been, is I'm always piecemealing stuff. I don't have like a completed system or a completed course to be able to get through it all. And the completed system or quote unquote completed course was, $8,000, right? So your why will drive you, and depending on how much that why is influenced will define how desperate you are. And put it this way, I've been absolutely desperate to make all this work. And that's kind of like the motivating factor of when I found Auspex research information. I literally locked myself in my house for a month of just poring over the information, trying to get it all. So your motivations will truly affect it. And the reason why I'm talking about the whys is because, this has a pure effect on my daily trading. And so to get to the point of separation was never going to be there for me, especially when you got this looming thing over your head, and it's a financial process. And if anybody in here has ever owned a restaurant or is in a restaurant, you understand that type of pressure. A lot of us also have life family pressures, or you want to be a provider, or you're looking for something different. And so those type of things either going to motivate you extremely well, or it's going to really hinge upon your trading. So your why is the big thing, and we all have our why, and all our why is very justified, and our why is us. It is me. It is who I am that is driving me to be able to get there. Okay, so when I left Stocks to Trade Pro, you guys have seen the 2 interviews I did with Tim Bowen. When I came up with this theory, or I was working through this theory. It was the first time actually Tim Bowen reached out to me to do a one-on-one. It was my only one-on-one that I did with Tim Bowen, and I tried to record it, and unfortunately, when I recorded it, it only got one side of the audio, and so I didn't get the whole thing. If you guys see a guy in the chat room that goes by Vitamin K, his name is Kenny. He's been with me from the very beginning of this whole process of the reverse stock split theory. And me and him had, which was extremely nice that I actually had somebody in my hometown that I could talk about the reverse stock split theory. So he was throwing a lot of ideas off of it, but he was also a very new trader too. And so a lot of this stuff was very confusing for him as well. And then trying to piece those together was extremely confusing. I mean, there was a few times that me and him were at his house, we're drinking some whiskey and trying to go over SEC filings and trying to put together the stuff. And it's very difficult to go through SEC filings when you don't know what to look for, right? So when I left Stocks to Trade Pro, I had, that's all I had was the reverse stock split theory. With the reverse stock split theory, it wasn't completed. I was doing all the different research that goes along with the reverse stock split theory. I was going back to stocks from 2010, trying to find the common thread with the reverse stock split theory. At this point in my trading career, I decided to reach out to Roland about if he could help me out. I originally reached out to Roland a year before that, and he's like, yeah, I totally can mentor you for like an exorbitant amount of money. I was like, dude, I can't afford that. I said, well, maybe next time. And so when I left STT Pro, I reached back out to him and I said, hey man, you still have that offer available. I was going to try to figure out some way to get that money together. And he says, yeah, he goes, but I'm not charging that much anymore. I'm gonna charge a little bit of a different price. So of course I'm not going to reveal how much that price was, but he did work with me in a very fair way. And so so that process there, actually give me 1 second here. I have somebody asking a question about how to get in. Let me grab. Okay, so got it with a Roland, and of course Roland has been extremely successful with his version of the reverse stock split theory, and I talked to him about it, and he brought me under his wing, and he said, you know what, why don't you go ahead and try to develop this theory a little bit further. And so once he gave me the encouragement to develop it further and teach it to his trading students, that's when the reverse stock split theory for me really opened up. Not only did it open up for the process of the theory, but it also opened up with being able to truly interact with other traders in the trading community. I want to give a big shout out to a guy named Mike. He's from Canada, and he was very welcoming me to showing me some of the tools that he's been using, and that communication of there are different tools out there was a big eye-opening of what's out there. And you know, it's very hard to find out what all the tools are out there when you're trying to search for everything, and then you have these things coming from the Tim Challenge telling you only use Stocks to Trade Pro, and then like some of these websites are dead from these old videos. So it's very hard to collect all this information to be able to have a good trading system with all the different tools. One of my most favorite new tools, thanks to Mike, is BAMSEC. Trying to search through OTC, I mean not the OTC, trying to search through SEC filings is extremely difficult when you're not knowing what to look for. And so that was an amazing tool to be able to add to my repertoire. The other tool that I knew I was hesitant about signing up for, but because I spent all this money with Stocks to Trade Pro, was Equity Feed. And it wasn't until I was stuck in a stock that I was trying to take overnight, an SEC filing came out. Stocks to Trade Pro showed nothing about it. I didn't. Somebody from Roland's Wolf's groups who was using Equity Feed said, "Hey, this just came out." And then I was like, "Well, how'd you get that so quickly?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I use Equity Feed. I'm listening to it through the news channel." That is like a total game changer. And it's not until you actually try another platform that you realize what you're really missing. I still use STT Pro for my research capabilities, but having that knowledge of news coming out instantaneously and it's being super reliable is an amazing tool that will really change your world. Let me give you an example. Is when I was dealing with all the crashing of STT Pro, they would tell me it's my computer. My computer doesn't have the resources. So what I do, I drop down $3,000 on a gaming laptop, Alienware, top of the line, and yet I still have problems. You know, Stocks to Trade lost all my watch lists. Oh my God, I was so upset because all my work was there on the watch list. So you know, those types of things hurt you, and especially when you're trying to learn the process of trading. So, you know, the evolution of learning these things is a hard one, especially when you have your gurus telling you that this is the tool and the only tool you should be using, and that tool just keeps on failing on you. So it's a hard road doing it. And then when you're looking at, you know, like a Roland Wolf and a Ducks who are just like tearing through this type of stuff, and you're sitting there just dealing with headaches of computer crashing and software crashing, and that whole process is extremely hard and extremely difficult. You know, I will definitely say that one thing that really helped Roland was he didn't have to deal with that. He used Equity Feed from the very beginning. And then he likes his Street View with Schwab charting software a lot. And so, you know, that when you don't have to be dealing with technical issues the whole time, it really gives you a leg up on the process. So that's, you know, that was another challenge that I had after leaving STT Pro and when I was in STT Pro with that. One thing that when I was talking with in Poland over the phone, you know, they were all told me that my education and SEC filings is way beyond what they are at, and they said that my problem was in performance, and so the performance side is a very difficult process to be able to get to, especially when you don't know what that means, right? And so you're diving into all these educational materials that you've purchased, and also another thing that you're thinking about is, okay, where does the answer lie at? And you're told, you know, go through thousands of hours of information and then you'll get your stuff. So the kind of the process that I went through, and if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't recommend it, is I kept on trading and learning at the exact same time. Now, the honest process is you'll have, you definitely won't be top heavy in knowledge, but you are spending a lot of time going through the trades and going through stuff. And to be honest, you don't quite know how to analyze your trades at that point in time, because really nobody tells you about how to analyze your stuff. So there is a time in January where you know, the desperation really hits heavy, and there is this realization that I need some type of help. You know, I'm making the exact same mistake over and over again, and I don't know how to curtail this issue I'm having with it. And that's what really makes me want to reach out and get some kind of help. So I am not that guy who looks for a therapist. I've never been that person. I've lived a really good life. I have a great mother. I have a great father. They did a good job parenting me. My life definitely wasn't, my family's not rich. That is by far. I mean, it takes a lot of cookies to provide a good living as a baker. And my mother was taught dance and school education in elementary school. So like all my needs were taken care of. So my life wasn't hard. I have really good friends. My friends didn't have hard lives, so like for me, I really didn't need therapy as it is in my head. But there's something about trading that really changes things. It's a whole different story when you go to work and you do your daily work there, and then after you're done with work, you collect a paycheck. Either you're on salary of some sort, or and then you clock out and you go back home and you have your life to be able to live. There's pressures in life, but there's not high pressures. Trading is a whole different beast in itself, because this is your actions that you are doing, and it's almost like you feel like you're not controlling your own actions for whatever reason they are. It's like you almost are watching your hand get yourself in the trade, but you're the one doing that, getting yourself in the trade. So the first thing I started looking for was a psychology book. One, to understand market psychology, but also one to find the answers I'm looking for that I'm dealing with. And so I remember when I originally started trading, I read the Daily Trading Coach by Brett Steenberg. I read it. It didn't make much sense at the very beginning. And to be honest, I wasn't very impressed with that book. But the book that I got that was very impressive to me was The Psychology of Trading, the Tools and Techniques for Mining the Market. And January is the time that I had to come and start taking care of my grandmother. So I left my business, and I am now relocated in a small town of Slater to help with my grandmother, and she's battling dementia. So I utilized this time to, number one, work on myself, work on my business from remote, and also work on reading these books. And by the way, I'm not a reader. I'm not a fan of reading, but I'm at this point where I have to fix the reasons why I'm doing these actions with trading itself. So I read the book of Psychology of Trading, and in that he defines the logical mind and the emotional mind. He defines what we have to do. He gives us little techniques to be able to handle stuff. So for example, if your heart's beating and your mind's racing and you're in a trade, get out of your chair, jump up, do some push-ups, do some jumping jacks, run around your house real quick. Sounds odd, but these things really do help, because these are fight or flight emotional things that are happening in your body that you need to be able to get control of. I mean, I was just doing a trade yesterday with somebody, and she was doing a high day break, and her heart was racing 1 million miles a second, doing a higher day break. And that is the emotion. We all feel this emotion, and trying to turn that motion is a difficult thing. So I also went to my hometown this summer, a month ago, and I was actually saying, okay, I need to find myself a therapist to go to. And to be honest, everybody told me there's not a performance-based therapist. We are such unique people that we are going after something that most people don't even try to achieve. There is a different mindset or a different process for people who are being overachievers. And even those people who are overachievers do need help, because what we're trying to do is not easy, right? It's hard because we are being the outliers of what the rest of the people in this world do. You know, like if you're trying to become the best surgeon in the world, that's a whole different story. You know, if you're building rockets, it's a whole different story. You know, if you're leading a company, you're a different individual in what's happening in this world. So this was a hard realization for me to be able to realize that, shit, I need some help. You know, I had to redefine success. I've been on the Food Network multiple times. I consistently and able to very successfully to self-promote. I get featured in publications and magazines all the time. I'm extremely good at it. I'm able to bring customers into my business all the time. I have a very well-known company in my hometown. I got my college degree. But there's something that's never allowed me to get to the other side financially, right? And so I had to redefine what success is and what are achievements. My achievement right now in stock trading is the reverse stock split theory. To be able to put that all together, even I blow my own mind away of what I was able to pull together. That's an achievement. An achievement being on the Food Network. That's awesome. When I went back home to my hometown, I got selected out of 5 bakeries in the whole wide world to be in a national commercial around the world. I shouldn't say just national, a global commercial. A bakery in Paris, a bakery in England, a bakery in San Francisco, and then my bakery is featured on this. So those are an amazing achievements. The success I'm looking for is always at my fingertips, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong to be able to get that success. So let me define success for you in my business. Success for you in my business is for me to be able to go into the company. We're making enough money to pay off all our bills. Everything's running smooth with the whole place. Don't have to micromanage anybody. I can come in and I can bake and I can interact with my customers, and I don't have to worry about everything because everything is running perfectly well. My only challenges are how I'm growing the business. That's the success I want. As a trader, I want to be able to come to the market. I want to be able to know when the market is ripe for me to be able to make money off of it, when it's not available for me to make money off of it. Always to be able to learn a little bit more, a different technique, always be growing, but also have the P&L that goes along with that process as a successful trader. You know, having that, not just having the revenue, but having those wins in there, providing the money that I would want to be able to get in there, but having that process of evolving as a trader. When my mind was so heavy on just the P&L, and the P&L saying $100,000, that's an achievement. That's not, but that's, a lot of people we see in trading don't hit that $100,000 and then they lose it all, right? So these achievements and success have to be defined. And I've never been the person to be able to define these things in a mental standpoint because there's such an intangible possibility. It's an intangible process of defining these types of things, and they're actually real, which is so odd to me, but it is real. All right, so frustration provides desperation. Desperation makes me take action. So Roland Wolf is having a conference in California. I decide that I must be at this conference no matter what. I take off on a road trip in my car. My car is decked out with a whole bunch of camping gear. I really can't afford hotel stays, so I do a lot of camping in my car. Like I'm traveling. Luckily enough, through the trading community, I've met people such as Allie, Fit Girl. She let me crash at her house traveling through Oklahoma City. In Albuquerque, I had, of course, I had a place to stay. And then I camped out of the back of my car all the way until I got to the hotel in California. And in California, I utilized my rewards points to be able to stay at the hotel. So I got to meet a lot of people one-on-one that I interact with on a daily on the trading, and that is a pretty cool experience with it. While I was out there, Roland offered for me to be able to come down to his office in Arizona and hang out with him for a couple of days. And so I totally took him up on that. And he was in the middle of the process of getting his own home. Super kind for him to be able to do that while in the middle of moving to another home. I could not afford hotels, so I stayed at campsites, and I camped out every single night out of the back of my car to be able to make this happen, So when you're desperate measures, you'll do anything that you possibly can to be able to do that. What did I learn? When I got to hang out with Huddy and Roland inside the office, I got to see their setups. I got to see everything. And I had a realization I had all the tools that I needed to make this a go. I didn't need to buy another DVD. I didn't need to buy another subscription. I didn't need to buy this. I didn't need to buy that. I didn't need to be searching out that for that answer. The answer is at my fingertips. So it kind of goes back down to when I left STT Pro, what did I not get in education? I didn't know how to define first green day. I didn't know how to define overextended gap down. I didn't know how to put these patterns that Tim Sykes was teaching in the penny stocking framework TBD in place. I didn't know how all this stuff put together. By the way, penny stocking framework and penny stocking framework part 2 are way two different things. When he came out with penny stocking framework part 2, all the stuff that Mark Crook talked about in the Tim Challenge, it's always in penny stocking framework, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not. I love the fact that you guys say it all the time, and it's apparently there, but the way it was taught in the first DVD, it's not there compared to the way it is in the second DVD. So that's like comprehension things. So like when people telling you, oh yeah, it's right there. No, it's not. It wasn't there for me. It wasn't there for me in my mind. That was a huge turning point and in my educational process is realizing that I had this stuff, but I didn't know how to put it together until like Roland pointed out that is first green day, and then when Huddy pointed out, okay, this is overextended gap down first red day. When they specifically pointed that out, I was like, holy shit, wow, huge. And then everything all of a sudden came together. It was that kind of like that aha moment, but it wasn't like in retrospect when at that time when I'm living through that, it took time for that to come together as I'm being able to see it. And so that has been it's been the hardest thing for it is just the simple thing of what is first green day. That just blew my mind. So that process there was an incredibly heartbreaking. How much money did I spend? I spent almost $20,000 over the past 3 years trying to figure this stuff out. I don't know. It's just heartbreaking. So so after leaving with Roland and Huddy, I've had a few mental breakdowns. The pressure of what's looming with my business has truly affected me and has rocked me in the core. Having to redefine success having to define myself, I have literally broken down in a crying ball of mess about this process. I've had a breakdown with Allie. We were hanging out, and it just all hit me. I don't know why. I had a breakdown back home, like literally crying on my knees, praying for the help that I need, and feeling helpless through this process. Anger came out of me, and I've lashed out on people that I care about, because I believe that I'm doing the right thing, and from people to criticize me from the outside in, it's like they haven't lived my life. They haven't lived the nights that I was at the bakery working 18-hour days, baking all day long, and then blowing up an air mattress, sleeping in front of my oven at the bakery, getting up in 2 hours and doing it all over again. To say that I didn't try is not the truth. I've tried everything I possibly can. So I started the bakery in 2002, back with my family. So 2002 to 2019, stock trading 2016 to 2019, all came to a head for me this year in a lot of things. Panic attacks, I didn't know what those things were until this year. These types of things are things have affected me, and so I am seeking out for a therapist to be able to help with these processes. And then again, of course, with everything I do, everything is always over the top, and so I always have to piecemeal. Matter of fact, a therapist I talked to said, well, what you can do is you can use your mentors, and then you can use us, and then you can use this. So you're talking about like 3 different people. I'm like, great, thank you so much. When I came back here over the summer, I made a little bit over $15,000. I did really great this past summer. Wins, losses, back and forth, $15,000. Exciting stuff to make that kind of money. And then in the past month, so at that point, I made about $15,000, and in my mind, I have to get over PDT. I have to make over the 25K. And so I'm pushing hard. I'm taking bigger size. I'm pushing harder. I'm taking bigger size. And then things I don't think of or I wouldn't have thought of happen. And next thing I know, I'm getting caught in trades, and I'm holding on just a little bit longer than I should, or I'm getting in a trade I shouldn't be in, or just rotten luck. And I whittled down about $10,000 of that right back down. So depression, realization I'm going back home for a month, not being in the position I want to be, bakery still not fixed, my stock trading is still not fixed, heavy depression hits that. And then funny enough, I get called up about this baking commercial, and they tell me, hey, so it's a reminder of, I got really good things going on in my life. I got a lot of good stuff on it. It's just my expectations of myself is my worst enemy. My expectation of making $200,000 is my worst enemy. My expectations of, I got to get this bakery fixed now, is the worst expectation of myself. You got to give yourself time to rebuild yourself to be able to achieve with it. Everybody talks about how success is not one straight line. It is circles of lines going all over the damn place, and it is so true. So having to realize I do got great things. I do got good stuff. I am part of an amazing trading community. I do now have a great trading system set up. I do have great knowledge now of what's happening in the market. I have great foundation. It's just, I got to keep on pushing. I got to keep on challenging myself, and I got to keep on going to get there. So what you guys are hearing right now is you're hearing me. This is me, me, me. This is all about me. This is my issues. These are my challenges. These are my whys. These are all about me. I get up in the morning, I come to my trading desk, I'm searching for that trade to be able to make a little bit of money, and then continue on with that. It's me. It wasn't until a couple weeks ago, about a couple weeks ago, I'm doing this all wrong. There's something that's very unique to Huddy, Roland, Dux. All these great traders have something extremely unique to them. They were able to realize where the me person is sitting in that chart, and they know what makes that me person get uncomfortable and have emotions and know when they are uncomfortable what is the one thing they all do to relieve that pressure of that one trade going wrong on them. They exit the trade. And if you know where that me person is sitting at, you know when they exit the trade, it's going against them, and you know that you're going to either have a panic candle in either direction. And that's what they take advantage of. Huddy, who's been 5 years of trading, the reason why he knows that is because he was that guy too. He talks about his great losses. He talks about him being in a position where he got turned upside down. He talks about that. So one of the biggest things that I thought was always hocus pocus in the market is, oh yeah, the shorts live here, the longs live here. This is what happens. This is the reaction to the shorts or the longs or whatever, squeeze play. Like, it makes no sense until you're that person being squeezed on or being dumped on. And when you have those emotions in there, that is what makes it powerful. So let's go over some books to read. I already talked about the Psychology of Trading by Brent Steenberg. That has been an amazing book for me. But the other thing that I never got in these years of trading, you ask, what book should I read? And they say, oh yeah, read them all. Well, there's thousands and thousands of books about trading. Where do I begin at? And that's not having direction that really affects us. Well, what should I read? Well, just read them all. Well, where should I start? Well, here's a big old giant list. Here's something for you to read. So, one of the biggest books that has really helped me turn my trading around is Volume Price Analysis by Ann Cooling. It's a great book on how to read the chart. There's a big thing that's going on right now, and it always happens, is that everybody's on the search for the holy grail of this one indicator that's going to tell you where to get into a stock, where to get out of the stock, how the stock's going to move, and how it's going to trade. Everybody's looking for this holy grail of an indicator. Well, guess what? It doesn't exist. All indicators, and I'll read this to you. I'm going to grab this book. I have another book. I'm going to read it from you. Technical Analysis Using Multiple Time Frames. Understand Market Structure, Profit from Trend Alignment. Let me get to this page. If you guys have this book, by the way, I'm a very tactile person, and that's part of it's a blessing and a curse, a way I learn. And because of that, I always have to buy books and actually physically have them to be able to read. I'm just not a Kindle person. This doesn't work for me. So this is page 2 from Technical Analysis Using Multiple Time Frames. There's nothing wrong with using indicators or oscillators to supplement time and price, but all oscillators and indicators are derived from time and price, so that makes them less important than the actual source of information. Keep that in mind to simplify things. The reality is we're dealing with dormant stocks. These stocks do not trade all year long. They're not an Amazon. They're not a Netflix. They don't have large volume in it. you know, these indicators are very dormant, especially when it's a completely dormant stock and immediately volume happens into it. You know, as soon as it happens, it's going to be above all these different indicators. These indicators are not up to the task of what we have at hand. We have to be able to look at the candles, we have to look at the volume, and we have to be able to look at level 2 to be able to give us an idea of what we're looking at. It's only through those types of things that you're going to get a true understanding of what's happening in front of you. It's the story that's being built. What is the story being built? It's a story of market psychology. It is the person who is, how can I say it, dumb money, I guess you could say, because we're all learning at that very beginning of the spot. The only true way to truly understand how to predict that stock is to be able to understand volume price analysis. I have to give out a shout out to Papa John for giving me books to say, hey, this is where you need to start. These are some books that you need to read through. Through the Ann Cooling book, I've found a few other books that she got her information from. Here's a book from, I believe, 1910 or 1930. Yeah, 1930. Same stuff, by the way. This book, 1930, tells you do not buy the breakout. It goes back that far. Don't buy breakouts, right? And this is the Richard D. Wyckoff Method of Trading and Investing in Stocks, a course of instruction in stock market science and technique. The big difference between then and now is that we do have computers involved, but you got to realize too that the section that we trade in, computers usually don't play around in our area unless there's large volume, unless they have dilution that they want to put into. You know, a lot of these institutions, true traders, don't want to be playing in less than $5 range, you know. Matter of fact, some guys are even restricted that they can't even play in that $5 range. So to understand the human element is an extremely important aspect to it. Now, I'll tell you this, definitely learn these tools, learn what these oscillators and indicators do. Because if you want to be able to continue on with your educational process and trade into higher price stocks, you will need them because that's where the bots and the computers play at. Another book that I recommend for technical analysis is going to be Adam Grimes, The Art and Science of Trading. He has a workbook that goes along with it. And he also has the main course book as well. I really do like these technical books. Another amazing resource that we have access in Trader Paradigm is a gentleman named Darkside, Brian. His journey is quite an interesting journey as well. He was very fortunate enough to be able to buy or spend a lot of money, able to travel and meet all these different gurus in person and talk to them all about technical analysis. And then I believe he's also tied in with Awesome Calls out there as well. So he has a plethora of knowledge on technical stuff. And he provides a course on there that is something I really wish I would have had access to when I first started stock trading. Matter of fact, I signed up for a Think or Swim course thinking that would be able to get me there on all these different indicators. And they don't. Like, these guys don't have the mindset of micro caps. Like, they don't have this mindset of what we're trading, because what we're trading is very unique to what we do. And it's very hard to, it takes time to be able to get that understanding that don't be trading a Netflix and expecting the results of a BBTH. They're just two different beasts, but how do you understand what two different beasts are? You know, it's like trying. Okay, here's an interesting story. I went down to Argentina, and my Spanish is all right. And I was sitting with this girl. She was teaching me tango. And I spent about 3 months down there just studying the dance of tango, Argentine style tango. And we were at a restaurant, and she was trying to teach me arroz. And she explained arroz, I don't know how many different ways, and I couldn't get it. I didn't know it's this white thing, it's this little thing, it's kind of hard, and then you add water and it kind of gets fluffy. And it wasn't until I went to my apartment and I was watching the TV, and the commercial comes out with Diana Ross, and she's a little cartoon character, and it says that it's rice. I didn't realize it was rice. So when we're trying to talk about stocks and how they move and how everything moves around, it takes a lot of experience to be able to know that there's a huge difference between a Netflix and a BBTH. These are just incredible stuff. Darkside is saying that he did the TD class back in 2009, and it was more into swings and options. See? So it's very difficult, and you don't know. You have no direction. It's so hard. And then the direction that you get in the 10 Seconds Challenge is watch all my videos, watch the thousands upon thousands of hours. You'll get it. Yeah, so hard. So back to the me trader and the enlightened trader. What is the difference between the two? How do I become the enlightened trader is the next question. How do you get to that other side, right? Well, your lessons are happening now every single day. Just nobody's told you how to interpret these lessons. I've seen a lot of you guys getting excited about the next trade. You guys are jumping in, you're jumping out, you're getting back into the stock. Oh, it went against me. I cut my loss. I'm getting back in. I think this is a good one. If you've ever been short a stock and the stock goes against you, and the sinking feeling after another loss, another damn loss, I lost another $200, the heart racing, the feeling of you looking at your computer and you moving these actions, and you know you shouldn't be entering in the trade, but yet you feel like you're uncontrollable and you're getting into that trade. Right, your heartbeat's racing, your mind is going like 1,000,000 miles a second, your palms are sweaty, you're just staring at that screen, and it's like your heart's throbbing, and all this type of stuff is going off in your mind, and then it's another loss. You get into the high of daybreak, being told you shouldn't do the high of daybreak, but this one time you think it's going to work, and your heart's racing because you know that's not something you shouldn't be doing. And then with a rush, and then you get out because it seems like it's not going right, and then you get out and it's a small loss. You're like, oh, thank God, I just cut my loss, and then it goes back against you. These emotional thought processes, these things that you guys are going through every single day, trying to do something that you don't understand quite yet, is your learning experience. Take these moments that you're using and apply that to the chart. So let's go a little deeper into this, what I'm talking about. Going to this trade, and actually let me grab something real quick. There it is. This is one of my first drawings of my playbook. This is my playbook that's going to be unique to me. Even though I've been studying from all these different gurus and all these people talking about doing a dip buy, or talking about 52-week highs, earnings play, overextended gap down, ducks bounce short, all these types of things. This is my play. Now, you guys can have this play, and you can sit there and say down the road, oh, this is Tango's play, or whatever it is. But this is me. This is from me that I've created, and you have to do the same thing yourself, so that you are creating your own playbook, that you're becoming intimately knowledgeable about your play, right? So let me give you a little definition here. First definition is this is gonna be a first green day, right? Now, when I left Stocks to Trade Pro, I did not know what first green day is. What is first green day? I will give you my definition of first green day. First green day is this. You get up in the morning, you come to your computer, you load up your scanner showing you what's moving right now. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this over. If I still have it up from yesterday. So I come on, I see my scanner, and I see all these stocks moving around. I see the percentages going up, and then I have my news that goes along with it, and then I click on the news, and I find out what's going on with the stock. Right? This is first green day. First green day happens every single day, by the way. Right? Because every day news comes out, every single day, some type of volume, some stock that was dormant of some sort gets news, gets alerted, and it goes. And then how it ends on the first green day, who knows what it's like, right? So, where is that? Is that it? You guys can see it? Put it on the wrong screen. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, so you get on your scanner. Here's a scanner, right? First green day, you see all these stocks popping up on the scanner. They are moving up percentage. Hopefully, most of them are like 10%. Volume starting to come in. You get your news here, right? This is your scanner. Everybody has a scanner. Everybody's looking at the scanner. And then how you trade it, you make money, you lose money, whatever it is. Either the stock held its gain, it tanked all day long, or it ran to the moon. This is the possibility of first green day. Every day is first green day. I didn't know that because Bowen doesn't talk about that. All right. Let's see here. Here's my next definition of first green day. This is my definition of first green day. First green day, reverse stock split. It's a stock that I've done all my research on the stock. It gets its PR to it, and it takes off like a rocket. I've already hunted down my first green day. I've known about my first green day coming. I had a good idea when it's going to be coming, and all my formulas and stuff of my reverse split is coming. There's two types of stocks that are happening in this market. There are normal stocks who don't need reverse splits to help them survive their company, decent companies, somewhat good companies, considering what we're really dealing with. And that's a very loose definition of what these are good companies or not. And then we have reverse splitters that are naturally the biggest runners of stocks. Reverse splitters are, in natural terms, the stocks that will be one or two a year that we are going to get as a run. So here is my pattern. This is it. I'm actually really proud of this pattern. I drew it out. I know what all this stuff represents. It took a few people in the pro room to say certain things. Some people can call this a bear trap, if they want to call it a bear trap. It can be a short squeeze of some sort. They can be all kinds of good verbiage, however you want to define it. But this is my pattern. This is me. I know this pattern very well because I've made lots of money off this pattern, and I also have lost lots of money off this pattern. So I know what it's like. So we're going to take a stock. It's going to be the high of day, either high of day pre-market or high of day morning spike when the stock takes off. Right? Everybody in the world is going to think that this company is junk. It's horrible. It does not need to, shouldn't be up at all whatsoever, not one bit. So from the high day, you're going to have a consolidation to the side of shorts getting in, and some longs, but the shorts are getting in. And these shorts are in here. They're using high day as a risk. And these guys at this moment, as it's consolidating, don't know which way it's going to go. Is it going to up? Is it going to go up against me? I'll cut it real quick, or down. This is the moment where a lot of you are getting in the trade and you're nervous and you're your mind and your eyes are glued to the chart, and you are ready to exit that trade at any moment that it goes against you. Any moment it goes against you. This is where you're at. Let's say that we're all short on this. Then this drop happens. Oh my God, relief. It's going in the direction that I want my trade to go into. This is awesome. I'm up a couple $100, or I'm up $1,000, or I'm up $50. If this, I'm not going to pick on Josh too much, but Josh, he's up $50. He's excited about his trade, right? Here's the drop. Then the drop happens, and then you start watching your profits eat up and disappear. Gosh, shit, not again. I'll hold on to this trade. And slowly by surely grinds up as you watch your profits slowly. But you're thinking, this company is so much junk. It's so junky that this is going to die. And then all of a sudden, you get this little green candle that pushes away pretty much all your profits. You either 5 cents up or 5 cents down or wherever you're at. And you're like, do I hold on? Do I hold on? Deciding do I hold on? Do I hold on to this? I got a day trade. I'm going to burn a day trade. I can't afford another loss. Right? And so the stock consolidates in either a slight upward manner or a slight downward manner, and you're starting to get that little bit of relief. Okay, I hold on just a little bit longer. I'll hold on a little bit longer. I'll get out of this. And then the worst thing ever happens. Fires come in, shoots up. You're upside down on the stock. Your heart starts racing, beating. Your palms are sweaty. You're upset at yourself. How could I be so stupid? Or how did I get myself in this position? Once again, I am in trouble. Sounds pretty familiar, right? We can take it the other way. We can go long, but it sounds familiar, right? You guys believe this sounds familiar? Throw it in the chat. Say yes. Yes. Yep. Familiar as hell. Every day. Right? Yes. So let's move this over here. This is my trade of this stock. XSPA, reverse split. Stupidly hated stock. I was in here shorting the stock, risking high a day to the open. It dropped down. I was pumped. Absolutely excited. Found its base, held it, pushed up against me, and then this 300,000 volume candle lights off and does this, and I am upside down, and I was up $300 or whatever it was, and now I'm looking at $600 loss. Oh my God. And then I was like, I don't want to cut at this because this could be the top of the stock, and I just don't want to say I bailed out at the high of day and then it fell apart and I should have held on longer. It drops, I feel relief. Then it moves over here sideways, consolidates, and then it drops down. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm break even. And then it does this. And this is where I cut my trade. And of course, the very next day, all right, so I cut here, it always goes up to 545. I took a $600 loss, and it could have been like a $2,000 loss. I can't remember now, but I remember the feeling. And the next day, this eats shit. You described a perfect harmonic pattern like how you see it. Yep. Eat shit. I was right about this company this whole time. Massive short squeeze, first green day style pattern. I now look for this as a long on first green day trade. I have taken this feeling here, this feeling, I've taken it, and I've now used it to my advantage on this trade. I've definitely made back my loss from this on this particular trade. how I now look for it. I look for this eye a day. I look for it to soothe in, rock in the shorts. I look for it to come back, and I look for this. I'm looking for an entry in here where it's consolidating here, or I may be taking an entry in this type of thing. And this pattern will repeat over and over and over again. Another thing that will repeat is this stupid wedge. Watching your profits slowly eat you away is probably the worst thing in the world. Another one is the sideways consolidation all day long. Another worst feeling in the world. So what I'm challenging you guys to do is to take your feelings about a trade. Take your feelings of what this is and become the enlightened trader. Because there is a guy who's sitting there waiting for this stuff to happen to be able to tack on. We can do a perfect example of Roland's trade, ISEE. How many days? It's been a while. The last week. I bet it's on demand now. Mind blowing when you explain it that way. It is. See, nobody's ever told us how to look at this. Nobody's ever explained to us how to look at technical analysis. This is not technical analysis. This is market psychology warfare. This is the warfare of mind, and now you're looking at it in the chart. 10:30, do we have on demand for 10:30 now? We do, that's gonna be awesome. How do we do? So sweet. This is not just technical analysis. All right. You're not just looking at candles and saying where support and resistance is at. You're seeing minds here. You're seeing how the mind is being set up, where your feelings are at. This is the enlightened trader. You'll hear Roland and Huddy say this all the time. They just got done doing their conference in San Francisco. I am trying to find what makes people uncomfortable. I'm trying to find these positions. So this stock here, I believe it was on this day, they did something like 32 million shares traded. It was a bigger float stock. The thing about bigger float stocks is that they don't fall apart like a 2 million outstanding share company falls apart, right? Once it falls apart, it falls, right? These guys don't. These guys don't have very big movements, but they have lots of volume that comes into it. So let's take our teachings. What do our teachings tell us about this chart, right? What if you are a short seller? The best short sellers are going to be top ticking this stuff. By far, I'm not the best short seller. But the average short seller is going to be sitting down on the bottom side of the top tick. All right. If they see this, they're going to risk this and get in down here somewhere. They'll see the bounce pops up. This is where they're going to be. Right. Early morning shorts. We all know a very famous early morning short. He used to get his face ripped off every morning, shorting the gap and crap. Right. It gaps up, shorts in here, and then it falls apart and takes your profit. Spike. Right. Shorts here. Takes down, you take your profit. That's the trade of a short seller. So let's highlight that. Right. Longs, good longs, take the dips. They pick it up in here. They're taking these trades, they're picking them up. Good longs, right? That's where these longs are sitting at. We'll put that there. Okay, so let's go over the play. If you are a short seller and you're in here, what is the next thing you want to look for? What most of these companies do, they have the first green day, and then the second day they just fizzle right on out. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this stock, you're going to swing it the next day, and you're going to take your profits because it's going to go back down to $1. Most shorts do this. Most people swing trades. You know, that's if you have a great broker like Cobra or Interactive Brokers, you're going to take as much as you can from this trade, and you're going to take this down over here. It's natural. That's a natural thing. Greed, right? Right? Or you got a successful trade, you're not going to let that successful trade go. We've all been there. I'm green. I got a good trade going, right? Now you have the dip spires here and the longs in here. So what does a stock do? It does exactly what all shorts want it to do. It gaps down from the previous day's close, right? This is the setup that they're looking for. Gaps down, they think they've made the money, and then it holds its position. It perks up into the red to green move, whisking red to green. It comes back down. Maybe some short got in here. It consolidates. What does consolidation do? If you've ever been in a full day consolidation, it's like a meat grinder. God, it's like the worst 10 hours of your life. Just sitting there watching. You're not making any money, nothing. So it pops up over red to green. It consolidates some more. Now you got some of the more experienced short sellers realizing this is starting to go against their position. They want to start covering. What do short sellers become? They become buyers. Dip buyers become buyers. So now you got a movement coming. Even though it's a liquid stock at this moment in time, there's not much volume. But here's the problem: with not much volume, it will go against you, right? I've been here before on an overextended gap down, and I shorted it up, and then it slowly starts doing this. Right, and then you're like, oh man, I just had an $800 win, and now I'm back down to $2. God. So you have the opportunity here to either reshort the stock here if you want to. New shorts come in, but it holds it, and this is where this becomes an emotional candle. This is these guys saying, I ain't going to deal with this. I don't want to swing it. It's going against me. I got to get the fuck out. That's what this candle represents. What does this candle do? It puts all these people underwater. There's 32 million shares traded from this day. It puts them all underwater. What happens? Now, the next, it was T3, I believe. You have to do your cover after 3 days, and now you're upside down. Everybody's covering. Blom, 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 blom. Right? That's what Roland saw. He saw these people getting in upside down. So, you know, there's a big thing about OTC breakouts, and then we have NASDAQ breakouts. Well, the reason why NASDAQ breakouts don't work very well is because they don't. Like the people who bought earlier are now going to sell on the breakout point, right? And in that book from 1936, it talks about why breakouts don't work that well, because the people who bought at wholesale price are going to take the profits, right? And there's not enough volume to be able to get it. But if you can figure out where in NASDAQ, how to turn these people upside down, or where these people are living at, you're going to have a greater chance of a breakout actually working. What was the trade I did yesterday? Where's my scanner? Was it ATX? No, that was. I think I have it on my phone. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there you are. My entry is from 445. By the way, don't get excited about this stock. I was not very confident about it. I did it with my Robinhood account, and I only bought 3 shares. So I made $5. Woohoo. But it was more about the theory. This sideways price action is by far the worst, but you got shorts and longs getting into it, and it's the battle of people just battling it out. It's an earnings play. So it creates a good, as you can say, create good base. But if you've ever been in a stock, you get in first thing in the morning, either taking it long or you're taking it short, this is by far the worst experience of your life. You know, like 10 cents, 5 cents. It's like you're scalping trades. The only way you make money is you have a big trade in it. And then it catches fire. It puts everybody who was short in here upside down, right? So you got to remember, one thing you got to think about is this is a big, gigantic chess game, right? Where you got to know the tendency, or as a long, got to know the tendency of what a short seller is going to try to do and where he's going to enter his stock. And if it doesn't go against them, what are they going to do? How do you know this? Because you do it. You do this yourself. I'm holding on to this trade because I am under PDT. I am trying to make some money off of here. So instead of me burning a PDT trade, I'll hold it overnight, and then maybe it'll gap down and it'll go in my favor. And if not, I'll just cover. We all do this, especially as a new trader, especially new. That's the difference between an enlightened trader and a new trader. When you're learning this and you're not. And when you're not taught how to look at a chart, forget it. That technical analysis is not support and resistance. If I shorted here, I'm uncomfortable because I thought it was going to go down, and now I have to cover. That's where a lot of this power comes from. So I want you guys to be able to start harnessing your own emotions to define your trades. Why this didn't work for you? What about this? And what were you doing? Now, there's some things of you doing silly stuff like you get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You shouldn't be getting in and get it out a million times on a stock. Easiest way to burn out your account. So give you guys a little, where's the other thing I want to show you guys? So this is my pride and joy. I want you guys to create your own game plan, your own playbook. Create your stuff. Even if it's a overextended gap down that Gattani has taught us, now create your game plan and work through that game plan itself, right? Create your own stuff. See which patterns are coming through. And then after that, follow that up with statistics to show you if that's right or if that's wrong. So let me give you a different visual of what we're all doing. I bet all of us have seen X-Men and see Cerebro, right? So I'm going to give you guys a different way to look at this. We all wake up in the morning, right? We all get up, we get our cup of coffee, we're excited about getting our stuff into trading. We come to our station. That's our trade station. We're walking to our trade station, right? This is your trade station. We all have them. There are thousands or millions of people in this world who are doing the exact same thing. Either they're doing this professionally, they work inside an office, so they got up, they kissed their wife goodbye, or they're single, they drove through traffic, they got to work, there's a whole floor with a whole bunch of trade stations available for them, cup of coffee, hey Steve, hey Joe, hey Samantha, you know, blah, blah, blah. All right, what's going on today? How's the futures going, right? But we're all doing this. We're all doing the same process every morning. And then what you were doing is you came to the station and you saw your scanner, you picked up in here, you found your news on there, and then you're about to trade the stock and you're getting in. The enlightened trader sees the market in a different way. When they look at the chart, they're looking at you, your emotions. They know what you are going to get into the stock and how you're going to feel about it. So they get into the computer, they're at their trade station, and what do they see? So a great visual for what they see. They see the other thousands of traders jumping in on the stock. They see your level 2, they see your volume, they see you getting into it, they see your thoughts, they see what you're about to get either crushed and what will make you feel uncomfortable. Either they know there's dilution going to come down on you, like a rain, hellfire dropping down the bomb on you, and you got to bail out because you didn't know about the warrants that were sitting in the back end of the stock. Or they knew you were short in the stock because you decided to short first screen day and you got yourself upside down and your heart's racing, your hands are sweaty, your mind's going a million miles a second, but they see you in this format. How do I know this? God damn it, Roland and Huddy did it to me. When I went to California, I was long a stock. Roland said, there's a whole bunch of longs sitting in this position. Roland called my position out 5 cents off my entry and said, I'm going to short this. That mother. He shorted it. He made a buttload of money. I panicked out. Holy fuck. How does he call me out 5 cents from my entry? This is where the longs are at. They're about to panic. Go to Chicago. Huddy is not a long trader. I am short a stock. Huddy's like, oh yeah, the shorts live here. Calls my position out 5, 10 cents, somewhere in there. Stock. He decides to long it. Squeezes me out. He describes verbatim what I'm feeling at that moment in time. Son of a bitch. All right, what's next? All right, DVDs to watch. I know some of you guys have dropped down 10 grand, 12 grand to be in Tim Challenge. You should have access to all this. I know some of you guys are piecemealing this and money to pull together. First of all, I highly recommend Roland Wolf's DVD. Perfect for long, perfect for scanning. He created the scanning. And by the way, Stocks to Trade can do this type of scan with these percentage, which I found out on my own. This is a 5% down, sorry, 10 minute, a 5 minute in there. So if you guys are using Stocks to Trade, you can do this exact same thing, which of course wasn't taught. There's a lot of things that Stocks to Trade can do that not taught. There's a lot of things about this market that's not taught. But yeah, Stocks to Trade can do this. Roland Wolf's DVD is by far an amazing piece of art. For him to be able to do what he did so quickly and to be able to pull it up, and he's consistent, and he's still consistent, and he's over $1 million. Trader, profitable trader, even though his profitability does not say that, he's way up there. The next one that is I highly recommend is going to be the Tim Sykes penny stocking framework part 2. Not the first one. I watched the first one more times than I can count. I spent so much time on it, and I could not pull any bit of information out of it. It's nonsense the way that thing was built. The penny stocking part 2. Now, how do you use the penny stocking part 2? This is another part that I did not realize whatsoever. First screen day starts the process of all those patterns he talks about, the overall pattern concept. But it has to get past first screen day. That's half the challenge. That's where a lot of these short sellers are making money. Like Nate, Jesus, like they're one and done. A lot of these stocks are one and done. They go up and then they come back down. There's no continuation of that pattern that you saw on the DVD whatsoever. None at all. So like how do these come up, or they build up to that point? It's going to be like a stock like IFEE, right? How it comes up. Now I'm talking about NASDAQ only stocks because that is my experience. That's all I've been into because I've been limited. I've never really ventured out into OC stocks. But XNet is building out the pattern of what Sykes talks about. They don't happen very often, especially in the NASDAQ one. This is the beginning. And it's very rare. There's not so many of them happen. All right. So we have the overall concept. We have the way to scan for stocks for Roland Wolf, his DVD, and what his gap and crap reversal that he looks for. That's a styled entry into the stock. Next is going to be Tim Grittani's DVD. And by the way, it should be going on sale if you don't have it on the Tim Sykes website for Thanksgiving. His overextended gap down trade, which is Huddy uses extensively, and that's where Huddy's made a lot of his money. And I've been actually utilizing that trade and doing well with it. His overextended gap down trade for it. All right, so this was overextended and then a gap down here. I made some good money off of that trade as well. So that's another trade to be able to look for. So you got the framework, you got Roland Wolf, you got Tim Grittani's DVD. Investors Underground has a DVD that talks about, and maybe Darkside knows which DVD this is off the top of my head, I don't know, where it talks about the sympathy plays. Investors Underground covers that quite extensively on sympathy plays. That's what Roland waits for on his trade. So another thing that I wasn't taught with Stocks to Trade Pro was what defines a good trading day and not a good trading day on your scanner, right? A lot of the things for me was, well, how come Roland's not in the room all the time, right? Well, the reason why he's not in the room all the time is because he looks at the scanner, sees nothing on it, and just goes about his day. He's gotten to the point where he's now in that position where he doesn't have to grind out every single day. He could, but he doesn't have to. We, who are trying to make it, who are trying to get there, who are trying to go over stuff and trying to make all this happen, we're out there grinding every single day. And the reality is we should be studying every single day and not trying to grind out trades every single day. But there's a caveat to that where you do have to get experience as you trade, right? Your studies. So those are the DVDs I recommend. Those are the books I recommend. Now, the one biggest thing that a lot of you guys need to do is the path to pro. 50% of everything that we are covering has not been talked about anywhere. Michael Good's SEC filing DVD, as we all know, is very dry reading or very dry process, but it applies to our market zilch. None of what he teaches in the SEC filing applies to what we do at all. That's why it was so difficult for me to get my mind wrapped around what's happening in our market. To understand how toxic our section of the market is a hard one, and it's not taught anywhere at all. Let me show you guys something else too. But it's not unique to us either. These financing tools that I go through in the Path to Pro were utilized by Amazon. They diluted the hell out of their stock for many, many years, and they pulled billions of dollars off our market. And that's how they built the company. Look at all these offerings. Look at all these prospects, all the shelves, all the S8s. The same tools that our small caps, these big boys, utilize all the time. Look at what Amazon utilized to build their company. So the exact same tools that the big boys use is what's available to our small caps. What's the difference? Why do our small caps act in such a way? And if you guys read the book Dark Pools, Rise of the Machine Traders, you'll find out volume is key. If a stock is consistently trading volume every single day, it's an ATM. They have money. They can literally just print money left and right. If it's always consistently trading, they will always have access to money. Our stocks lay dormant majority of the year. One day of the year, they'll get 32 million shares traded, if they're lucky. If they're really lucky, they'll get 100 million shares traded, if they're that lucky. Those days will provide them the millions of dollars that they need to be able to survive the rest of their company. You learn the rules that they have to play by. Then you get to learn what they have to do and how they do it. So that's why it's so important to get through the books I recommend. It's so important to go to Auspex research, read the stuff he does, then get into the pro section, watch my videos that explains how this all really works. Once you understand how all this really works, that's 50% of the game. The other 50% of the game is your market psychology. You start thinking instead of me, think the outside and become the enlightened trader. Once you can understand the psychology of what these guys are doing, then your patterns will come together. Then your statistics will come together. All the stuff that Dux was doing, he didn't create anything new. What he did was he looked at the patterns that Tim Gertani did. Then after that, he went in through the proprietary system, pulled up all the trades that matched the pattern, and then took the stats from that and then created a statistical edge. I asked Dux a long time ago, how did he learn the stuff so quickly? I studied. That guy didn't study. He didn't study the way we were told to study. We were told to study to go through all of Tim Sykes' thousands of videos and watch them all, and through the experience, we'll learn it. Now, I will give Tim Sykes credit on that. In the psychology book that I recommend for you guys, the only way you guys can get the experience is by watching the previous traders' stocks, right? That's the archives. Those archives are very important, but there's so many different people that you can get archives from, right? So in the psychology of trading, how do you get yourself to the other side of being an emotional wreck during your trade? Confidence. How do you get confidence? Best way to, let's compare this to an avid gun owner compared to a newbie gun owner. If you got a new gun and you're trying to shoot it, you don't know what to do with it. It seems simplistic. The gun itself is simplistic. Put bullets here, you pull a trigger. It's all simplistic, right? But you got no training. Well, if a person is breaking inside your house and they're threatening you, your heart's gonna be running 1,000,000 miles a second. You have no training with it. You're trying to load a gun and then you're trying to aim it and fire. Who knows what the hell you're gonna hit? Whereas you have somebody who's highly trained professional, who spent all their time on the gun range, who knows how to break down their gun, pull it apart with their blindfold on. They know how to handle that gun in the time of need. Right now, you guys are so new. I was so new. I'm still new. I'm still learning the process of this. You got to get the experience that goes along with that. And there's different ways to gain the experience, right? One is actually being in the trade, in the market. There's one watching the DVDs through there, and then getting the experience that goes along with it. Nothing will ever replace market experience. Nothing will ever do that. So you have to trade. You have to expect to lose. You have to lose. There's no only choice is to lose money. The only choice is to lose trades. You have to go through that process to understand what it feels like. Once you understand what it feels like in that trade, you can become the enlightened trader. Then you can start becoming the winning trader, and you know where to go. I believe that's it. One more. Back to the building the playbook. Do the stuff that I'm suggesting. Draw out your trades. Make those reality. Own it. Be intuitive with it. Be intimate with that trade. By going through the process of drawing out your trade, by going through, let's say, Profitly, you know Tim Gertani is an overextended gap down trader. You know Roland Wolf's a dip buyer. You know Dux is a bounce short type of guy into resistance. You know these traders' trades. They've reported their trades. You can go through those trades, find them on demand with Thinkorswim, like I did, and I think there's some platforms for my international folks that do the exact same thing, I think WeWeb was one that Ali just found. And you can go through, pull up the chart, see what they're looking at the time, and then take your statistical information from there, and then you can build your Excel sheets. Dux did that for 6 months. That's all he did. He didn't trade for 6 months until he got him to the point that he had felt comfortable with it. Feel comfortable with your trade. It is okay to stop trading for the next 2-3 weeks. It is okay to stop trading for the next month. Now that you have a focus of what you should be doing on how to become the enlightened trader, get that edge, get it to the edge where you feel comfortable in that trade, where you know it in or out. I know for a fact that for me, if I'm doing a first green day trade, this is what I'm looking for. I don't want to be on the side of the trade that just gaps and craps and just tanks all day long. I've been on that side multiple times and I lost my money that way too. I lost a couple grand doing that. Now I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the pattern that I'm looking for. Now this pattern will come in many forms and variations of it, but this is the basis of the pattern. Like being an artist, you can be you create a painting. The elements are in there. Like when you are learning to become an artist, you're drawing stuff, and your teacher tells you these elements must be in there. So these are the elements, not all of them, some of them, they all can be there, and they'll create you what you are looking for. And then after that, if you lost the trade, it wasn't because it was an emotional response. It was because the trade just didn't work out, and that's okay. There will be another one. Okay, so I believe that kind of wraps up everything on it. You guys can start throwing in questions about it. Ask as many questions as you like on this topic. Probably going to get a lot. By the way, after this weekend, Monday, I'm heading back to Albuquerque, and I will be handling and working on my company. So I probably will not be very active in the chat rooms, and I won't be available for you guys to ask questions. So this is the time to do it. Right? Kenny, my man Kenny, me and him, we've been on this journey together since the very beginning. And so May 2016, we've been doing this, and this is my man. So yeah. All right. First question here is, what indicators do you like using on your charts? I don't use any indicators. The reason why is because I'm working on volume price analysis. I'm working on what the candles being built, the volume coming through is telling me with a level 2. I'm also working on the market psychology. The one indicator that I will sit there and say that is, like we talked about the oscillators and indicators all being delayed. They are all being delayed. All they do is they help you form your opinion on where you want to enter, where you want to exit. VWAP is an indicator that I will leave up on my screens, as you can see on the screen right now, that most of my charts do not have VWAP in there. I have one chart that has VWAP. Well, what is VWAP? VWAP is utilized by the financial companies on how to dispose of their shares. You'll read in the SEC filings that they will do VWAP 10 days, 10%, and that's the executional price of that stock. So it's always at a discounted rate of currently what the stock's being traded. That is why I use VWAP. VWAP is a financial tool that they will all use. They have to use it. All right. I've been getting quite a bit of kind of experience. Okay, Hadgar, so you're saying you're getting a lot of experience. Now you got to be able to analyze your experience in a better way than saying, ah, shit, I was just an emotional wreck at that time. I've been an emotional wreck. I just didn't know how to tie that into the chart. Was the Investors Underground that you recommend to detail how to identify good trading day versus boring trade? No, Investors Underground was to identify sympathy trading. Dark Side is successful. He's a very successful trader. Dark Side is incredibly successful, and he put a ton of time into learning his craft. Any recommendations on building basic proper Excel spreadsheets for tracking trades, YouTube video links. I suck at Excel. Where is that? What's down? I'll look it up. Dark side. You can just save thousands of dollars on DVDs with my classes and learn more than you'll ever get out of any DVD. I've been there and done it, and there is not a one-stop answer to learning, but I go put out more than all others combined. I'm not here to make a lot of money. I'll continue on for a living. I want to make it worth my time now. The trader. And Dark Side is right. His stuff is well worth it. Here's the thing. He knows small caps. He knows what small caps are. Anybody else who's going to try to teach you this stuff will not know how small caps move and how they work. That's the biggest edge Dark Side has. And then on top of that, he does trade the bigger stocks that are out there. He does know about options. You know, he comes from where we were as a mindset. So if you guys are looking for technical information, go with him. He is the man. Let's see here. While I'm looking this up, guys, throw up your questions on there. So let me put it this way. If there is something weighing heavily on your mind, this is the time to ask. Okay, I'm going to put this link in 2 different sections for chat and stuff. So your question about Excel. And you're not experienced with it is going to be from Tim Grattani's 2018 conference. He gives an example. It's also in his DVD of how to track. And he utilized, I think it's called Udemy. Yeah, I'll get the website for you. On classes on how to take on how to learn Excel. There it is. All right, let me grab. Courses on anything, particularly you can find Excel stuff. All right, got a DM from Mike. Just talking about overseeing gap down. Okay, it's not an actual question or a statement. All right, questions. I know you guys got questions. I know you guys are sitting there and you have something weighing heavy on your mind right now. You're just not there to say it. And this is the time to say it. This is where you guys create bonds with each other as well, not just sending memes in chat. I want you guys to be a little bit more focused. Warrants. Okay, well, Manny, so first of all, you need to read a book. And the book is going to be PIPS, the PIPS book. NASDAQ. Let me grab the book. PIPS. What is it? Gosh, I always say it all the time. PIPS, book, NASDAQ, private investors and public equities. Yeah, I recorded it. So, yeah, you guys get all access to this. I hope I put this in a linear format for you guys because I covered a lot. My whole year. I covered my whole year. Holy crap. Why can I not find the book? Maybe it's in the, oh, I always go past the pro and just go up to the top channel because it's sitting right there. Okay, so the book that you need to read is PIPS, A Guide to Private Placement and Public Equity. I will copy this link and I'll put it into main chat. Okay, so biggest thing for you guys, go to Pass to Pro. You're going to get a lot of the answers that you are looking for in Pass to Pro room and the books in there. I get it. It takes time and you want to trade. I really get it. But stop. Stop wanting to trade. Take the time, read the books, and go through them. Because if you guys get Pass to Pro, once you complete those 3 books, once you complete aspects of research stuff, then you get access to my DVDs. My DVDs make sense of the rest of the stuff, right? That's the process you want to go. You want to know about the financial side of everything? That's where you want to be at. So what are warrants? Warrants is just a, they call them a deal sweetener for a person. So let's say, for an example, Manny, I'm going to loan you $10 million, or I'm going to give you $10 million. In exchange for that $10 million, I want a percentage of your company because I believe you're going to be profitable, but I want my deal sweetener, which is warrants. I believe that your company will be profitable, that your stock price is going to go up to $20 a share. Let's say it's trading at $5 a share. Well, I don't want to put any money involved in it. I want the right to be able to execute stocks at $6 a share when it gets up to 20, and then if I decide to take that right, I can then profit off of that. So I'm going to give you the Bank of America, one of the best examples of how warrants work and how Warren Buffett made like $1 billion off of this. This is a new one. The Art of the Deal by Visceral Warren Buffett. I think this is it, but I definitely do cover this in the in my video series on it. So basically, it's just a way for them to dilute on the stock. So the way the financial companies will do this is they'll make a deal with ISEE, the stock we're just trading this week. So they make a deal with ISEE. ISEE will give them shares, and in exchange for that, it's going to be $20 million for them to raise. They will then sell off those shares into the market, and the money that they get from that, they will then hand it over to the company and then give them money off of it. That's how they make their money from it. I'm still trying to get to pro. My problem is reading. I hate it. I read very slow. You said you're not a reader as well. How do you push yourself to read and get through it? Desperation. I'm so damn desperate to get this stuff that I will force myself to read it. I've created tricks for me to be able to sit down and read a book. But I tell you what, when you're looking at what I'm looking at in your life, you will do anything. The question is how bad do you really want it? You know, if life is good, life is, you got education, life is happening. You know, when you're going out for a job, let's say you're an engineer, right? You got a degree in engineering. Life is great. You're making $100,000 a year. You ain't going to be washing dishes at Pizza Hut. But you get laid off. You're losing your house, you're losing your home. Your wife or your husband's leaving you because of financial problems. You want to make something work, you're going to do it. Right? So I've created tricks for myself to be able to read. I'll do small chunks at a time to be able to read. So I'll carry the book with me. I'm a very tactile person, so I have to put little markings and stuff on the book, where I'm at, what I'm doing, stuff like that. So one thing that Allie will do is she likes to use a text-to-speech voice reader. So if you open up a PDF in Google, so you can install a plugin called Read Aloud, a text-to-speech voice reader, and you can do a PDF, and then you can have that computer read that to you. So you can do that as well. Don't forget there's audiobooks as well. So if you do an Amazon Prime, and if you can find an audiobook, that'd be a great way to get through some of these books. It's audiobook. But Allie uses the text-to-speak plugin, and it's a Google Chrome plugin, which is also, let me see if I can get a link for you. Manage extensions. Microsoft Edge has it as well. There you go. It's painful. It's very painful. None of this is easy read. Let's see here. Psychology. Let's kind of go back to, because that's the main thing that this topic is about, in psychology, market psychology. Dealing with your own emotions. We all have them. We're all dealing with them. But how do we deal with them? And again, we're not a slob. I hate saying it like a slob. We're not. Maybe some of us have had bad lives. Maybe some of us are struggling with certain things. But one thing what we're doing is we're doing something that's very unique and very overachievement type of person. And it's hard to find somebody that you're going to relate to with this, to it. So I'm going to recommend something that has really helped me with facing myself, right? And that's going to be David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me book. But what I highly recommend is not the actual book itself, is the audio book. He did a really cool thing with his audio book. I did buy the book, so I can flip through it and see the images he's talking about. Put this in here. To get the audiobook of David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me. Just to work on your own mental. And learn how to push it. Another thing I picked up is running. You know, that weakness in my mind when I'm in a trade and then I'm giving into that weakness in my mind. I wanted to recreate that when I'm not trading. And so I started picking up running. Another thing I like is going to the baseball batting cages and just hitting a baseball from a machine. It makes you think. It's a split decision that you have to make that either you're successful or not. There's not very many worlds that we are in where these decisions are absolute. You don't get a retry. Hitting a baseball is that one time on there. You know, it takes practice over and over and over again. But man, Kenny, I'll see you next week. I'm winning I won Best Chef in the State, and I get to pick up the award on Wednesday. So I'll hit you up on Thursday. Okay, Ryan, this is nice. Also, to put trading into context, people at uni, I look up. Uni, I use their networking stuff for my business. Great networking stuff. Uni, I look up at what engineers do in their degree, and my engineer peers in my class is baffled by what we do. It is extremely baffling. It's a very unique thing in what we're doing, and we got to take it. It's multifaceted, and that's why there's like no absolute answer in any of this. You guys stay motivated. Exactly. Hitting the gym or exercise is not just for your body or mind. Before I picked up stock trading, I was a bodybuilder. Picked up stock trading, I was so dedicated. Like literally, I took this stuff to dedication. I stopped all types of form of exercise, and I gained a lot of weight. Went from 169 pounds to 235 pounds, all fat, and I lost my muscle. At the beginning of the summer, from the books and stuff, I really worked on that through the running, through the challenging, through the working out. I've shaped in my mind. I've also dropped all that weight. I'm back down to 189 pounds as of yesterday. So that process too helps your market psychology, builds you confidence, because we win and we lose all the time in stock trading. These losses can really mess your confidence. So the confidence, you have to define what builds you confidence in the stock trading. And the confidence that we have to define, or we have to focus on, is our learning process. And then once we lose or we win, we go back to learning. And we keep on re-hitting that learning process. That's our daily gym, is that learning. Learning, and keep on working that learning. Keep on working those angles. That's going to be our daily success, because in the end result from our learning will end result be the bank account being bigger. Same thing with like bodybuilding or working out. The daily grind of going running and hitting the weights, the end result is six-pack abs. If you go that deep, or your booty gets up a little bit more perkier, right? Triceps come in a little bit more stronger. You know, that helps build your confidence. You got to realize this is a confidence game, and we got to do every aspect we possibly can to rebuild our own confidence. And I'll tell you what, I've had very, very low confidence for multiple reasons for things, and I've had to rebuild myself. I've been a broken man this year. A lot of realizations, and a lot of me just trying so hard to achieve something and just not quite getting there. Multiple facets. Bakery, trading. It's not from a lack of effort. Yes, it's recorded. As soon as I'm done recording it, it'll be uploaded onto YouTube, and you guys can be able to rewatch this and listen to it over and over again. This is more about the journey. It's not like any of the technical stuff I gave you guys in this webinar is all in Pastor Pro. It's all in the DVDs. It's all in the stuff to go from there. I just wanted to redefine what you guys are looking at. That's what I really want to do. The whole point of this Because after listening and talking to you guys on one-on-ones, I wanted to redefine where your focus is at. So we got the David Goggins audiobook up. Highly recommend that for your own personal mental. I'm working on my mental. Take serious balls to be so honest. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff I wasn't going to share, and I haven't been sharing for the past whole year. And there's a stuff that I'm still not going to share with you guys because legally I can't. It would put me at risk of what's really going on in my life. But my only option is I have to make $200,000 to get out of my mess. And it's either I make $200,000 at the bakery, and that's a lot of cookies, or I make $200,000 stock trading. So my only option is either pull my shit together, and I hate saying it that way because it's not me pulling my shit together. I got my shit together. It's just building my mind and getting myself to that point where I'm on the other side, either with a business or either one. That's a huge weight on my shoulders, a huge cloud on my head. That's above me. So yeah, me and Darkside, me and Brian have a lot of very common paths, especially dealing with owning a company. Owning a company is hard. It's so hard. It will happen, Tango. I have been there. Also, why I teach now, don't like seeing anyone go through the same shit, but it does change us for the better in time and humbles you. Totally humbled, that's for sure. My ego has been redefined. I have an ego. Like I'm still like a super confident alpha male type of person. I just have to go. I had to face these emotions that I've never really ever faced my whole entire life. I've never had to because baking is not a high intense life. You know what I mean? It's not. This is. Okay, thoughts on pre-market trading. Okay, my answer is, Manny, I am now getting up for pre-market way early. The reason why I am now getting up so early for pre-market is it's for my reverse split trades. I need to be up early because I need to be able to nail these reverse stock split trades. The way everything has changed so much with reverse splits is they have messed up the way these things move. And so the safer bet is now on pre-market, even at that point, it's pretty hard. Okay, so did you find it daunting putting a $200K a year profit target? Would it be less scary if it broke it down to a daily or profit goal? So it's not a 200 year profit target. I need to make 200K. It's not a year profit. I need to make 200K. And I have to do it as quickly as I possibly can. That's been my mindset. It can happen. Like once you get in tune with the market, it can happen. I mean, look at Ducks. He does it all the time. He also has a bigger capital to work with. You know, these guys who are grinding it out. If I got to the point where I made $5,000 to $6,000 a month to help with this 200K issue, where I can do a combination of the bakery and this and be fixing both at the same time, this will give me the breathing room I need. So I am truly under the gun. And I talked to somebody about this, about separating or putting stuff in a box and separating those things. I haven't been able to remove that pressure. And I have to remove that pressure in my mind. I think the 200K is not going away. It's getting worse. Every day goes by, it gets worse and worse. The bomb is ticking. So that is what I am under. And all of us have this pressure. Maybe it's not to the extreme that my pressure is there, but we have these expectations, or we have what we are expecting. And the worst thing is our own expectations on what we should be at. If I knew it would take 3 years to get to this point, I probably would have done some stuff a lot different. If I knew it would took me 2 years just to get to this point, I probably wouldn't have traded with real money, and I would have put this money away as a nest egg, and knowing that it would take me 2 years, I could have saved up quite a bit of money to actually be trading with. I'd probably be over PDT, saving money that way. But I'm digging hard every single week trying to get there. And so that mindset has probably hurt me more than it's helped me. But I had, like, to be honest, I had no direction. Yeah, I signed up for Stocks to Trade Pro, but how do you work through it all? It's a lot of material. Watch all my videos. It makes no sense. Especially, okay, here's another reason why it makes no sense. SEC rules changed a few years ago. So when they changed, a lot of the stuff that he talks about are not applicable. Can you talk a little bit how you use the 5-minute percentage columns? Yeah, let me grab it. Oh, okay, let me make that bigger. All right, so this is the overall percentage change in the market, right? I like looking at 5 and 10% because it tells me something is currently moving right now. Like there's a volume spike of some sort, or there's a price change, a dramatic price change is happening all of a sudden. I like looking for that. So afternoon, these things will be like putting little squares around it, telling me what's moving around. So this gives you a great idea of what's moving. You can either do pre-market, aftermarket type of stuff. You're so inspiring. Thank you. No, thank you. We're all in this together. I believe that all of us will make 100K. And we will all get there. And we will all help each other get to that point. We have to. This is where we put all our thousands of dollars into. We have no other option other than success. How do we get there is the question, and that's where we had no direction. We want success. We want to get there. I got to get there. Okay, hey, no direction. Yes, that's where I'm at. I think starting now, I'll focus on getting to pro, then see where to go from there. Yeah, so that's 50% of what's happening in the market. If you know how the market moves on the backside, the SEC filings, the toxic dilution, what they have to do, all that type of stuff, that's half of it. And the other half is your market psychology. Your psychology first, then your market psychology, applying those to the patterns and why the patterns are not working or they are working for you. So glad to know this is someone else's walk. I feel the same about my learning journey. Exactly. If we were to define this as our learning journey to get there, like Timothy Sykes says, build up your knowledge bank before you can build up your bank account. You're so right. Over time, I've learned how right he really is. He's a dick, but he's right. And you guys, go through the dark side stuff class. I believe he's starting soon. Darkshide's not a dick. He's actually a really nice guy. So it's easier to learn from him. Awesome guy. But at least you'll understand what these indicators are. All this stuff is. All right. So glad we talk about that. Any other questions? So, okay, so we're at 2 hours so far. I learned more in 2 hours here than 7 months in pro. Exactly. It's very, I don't have anything negative to say about Tim Bowen. He's a great guy, super energetic. He has the passion. He shows passion. He's all the type of stuff. When the problem is when you're at the very beginning and you don't know where to turn, it's hard. And he's like one of the only options, either that or challenge. And challenge is like 8-10 grand somewhere in there. I can't remember now. I paid it. God, I paid it. I think we all pay it. I paid it out of desperation. I had access to a room like this back then. Different story. Okay. Well, we're still doing it, Rusty, at this moment in time. So ask your questions, and then once it's done, I'll encode it. I'll throw up a URL, and you guys will be able to watch it later. So yeah, totally. How do I build a proper watch list with so many stocks? I should look at. All right, so yeah, that was another thing that was not taught to me was watch lists. I mean, so Tim Bowen teaches you the daily watch list. That's one of the biggest things. He teaches you how to look at the watch list, how to analyze the stocks, put them in your Evernote type of thing, and he does that all the time, and he comes through. What was not taught to me was sector watch lists. So sector watch lists are very unique thing. So here we go. Battery plays, Bitcoin, biotech, China cheap stocks, electric car accessories, energy stocks, which is CEI and UMA. You like over time, you guys will become knowledgeable about these stocks. Oil and gas, shippers, soil, synthetic biology, something I was kind of playing around with. Weed sector, weed CBD, weed hemp. So these are like the sectors that you guys need to be able to get up. Now, it's very interesting. When you create these sectors, then you have that awesome market view thing. You get familiar with what stocks are in the sectors, and then you can be able to trade them this way. The problem is you just can't go and say, oh yeah, I want to grab all the sector stocks. Well, our sector is very particular, and it's built over time. Like every day you're trading it. Maybe what Josh can do can give you guys links, because you can share sector oil gas. All right. So like in sector oil and gas, I have CEI, UMA. Right, those two always run hand in hand together. That's experience talking. I didn't know that before. Sector weed. There's a lot of stocks on the weed sector. Okay, so that's one part, Manny, to your question about sector lists or watch lists. Your next thing is is going to be on the type of stocks that you want to look to trade. If you're going to be a short seller, you want stocks that have around 100% and they have multiple updates. You're looking for that overextension, like XNet, for example. Every morning is a watch list because every morning is the first green day, right? So every first green day, you're going to get a whole bunch of stocks that are going to pop up on that list, and those are going to be your optional trades to trade that day. Your edge is at the reverse splits. So if you have a reverse split on that day, it gets news because you already knew about it beforehand. So as soon as it's on your list, you already know about it. You guys got to do the research on your reverse splits. It's the only stock that you're going to get time to look at before it actually runs. Okay, after putting a stock on your watch list, say it has news and moved a bit, then nothing major came of it. Would you leave it on a watch list for say the day after, or discard it at end of day? I would leave it for a couple of days up, and then I'll probably discard it, but I would want to see if it's something worthwhile that I could add to my sector watch list, because you have new stocks companies all the time. By the way, I haven't updated my sector watch list in some time. Yeah, you got to, like our stock yesterday. Multiple days, how they move. If it's a one and done, forget it. I mean, you could swing it, you could swing short it. There's different ways to play it. Like, it's hard when you're at the beginning to know what to expect. Like if you have see, I want an example on the view. Yeah. Yeah, so if you can swing short a stock, and you know it's a toxic turd, you can, if it's a one and done, you can keep on holding it for a short. If you can find shares of short with the right broker, like Interactive Brokers or Cobra. Trade zero, you couldn't do that, but you could probably re-enter it again, short it again if you want to trade zero. Once it gets a little bit of volume into it, things can change. Yep. How do you block out count numbers in Think or Swim? How do you get okay, so up here in Think or Swim, you want to, here it is, privacy. So click on the little triangle, privacy, you put it in privacy. So that's Joy's question. And Turi, how do you block count numbers in Think or Swim? So yeah, so to answer both your guys' question, the little triangle here, and that gives you your block there. Well, do we have any, you learned to fight FOMO yet? Yes, I don't give a fuck. It's past my entry. It's past my ideal setup. Once it's past that point, I get into a stock, I have a higher chance of getting my ass handed to myself. And I don't like losing. I hate it. And it took a long time to realize that. That's a hard one to come to. But I got tired of chasing and then getting destroyed. There's always another trade. As Roland says, I just sit and watch in amazement. That's what Roland does. I just watch it amazing. That's amazing. You got to do the disconnect, the hard disconnect. Hate to say it's kind of like a one-night stand. You gotta emotionally remove yourself. Hit it and quit it, or don't give a shit. Market Mind Games by Denise Shrill. All right, I'll check that out. I am down for any psychology books now. Because it's a major portion of the game. Either it's you looking at yourself, or then being able to realize how to apply that to what the market is doing and feeling. You can predict moves better knowing the market psychology than any indicator will ever give you. How Roland's done it. How Ducks has done it. How Huddy's done it. Is there a trick of knowing the stock will gap up after hours? Depends on the situation, but it comes down to market psychology. If shorts are trapped and the stock is up, they're usually going to bail out because they don't want it to go up against them even further. Trading the Zone by Mark Douglas. Cool, I'll read that one. Andrew, you need to change your wig. Trading the Zone by Mark Douglas. If you guys are doing a lot of commuting in your life, your normal job, utilize that time with audiobooks. The School of Commuting. That's what you should be doing. The University of Commuting. Utilize your time while you're sitting in the car. Champ Paradox. Got it. Or Chimp Paradox. Yeah, see that? Got the book right there, all online. Okay, I'm gonna move my chat room to the screen. I'm gonna scroll here. Let's see, you guys are all using that to talk. So for the people who catching late, you can see what people have been saying. Hopefully I do this slow enough that you guys can pause the video. Because I know this is what I did watching all these damn videos. Okay, so we got the training zone, Mark Douglas. I think that was all right, cool. So we got some more psychology books for us to go through. Now, the biggest thing though is like if you guys are like 1, 2, 3 months into this, the psychology books are not going to mean too much because you still don't know your head from your ass. It's when you get into year 1, 2, and 3 that this really starts coming to you. But as you guys are studying the stuff and you guys are studying the market psychology, that's where you guys are going to get the edge. Cool. So this is like one of also the powerful reasons why me sharing my things have opened up other opportunities. Like I would have probably not looked up these books, right? You know, so by opening up myself to you guys creates other opportunities for myself as well. You know, so do that with your fellow traders. Hey, this works for me. This works for me. So talk to each other. I'm struggling. You got an answer yet? Yeah. All right. Yeah, make sure you guys are utilizing these channels in our stuff. Get to pro. By a lot of your questions you're having or you're struggling with, why are you getting dumped on or a stock is just tanking on you, and saw it was such great news, your answer is in pro. Cool. Got anything else? Any questions? Better question is, do you guys now have some focus on where to go? Okay, think of it this way, Manny. So what Manny's question is, overextended is up with no real support, and oversold, same opposite. With no real support and oversold, the same or opposite? I think what you're confusing is like an RSI indicator of oversold, and I don't know. I'm not familiar with RSI or the oversold thought process, but overextended is up. Think of it this way: if a company is worth $1 million, for a company to be worth $1 billion takes time. A real solid, true to honest God, good company takes time. Amazon is a perfect example. It took them years and years and years of development to be able to get them up. If you take a stock that yesterday was $1 and now is at 25 bucks and does that in 3 days, that is overextended. So the way you do that is you look at the market cap. There's no way a company can add like $300 million in their market cap in 2 to 3 days. That's a bubble, and a bubble like that has to come back down. Dux is very, very good at analyzing stocks in that way, looking at market cap and how a market cap is unsustainable when it moves too quickly. All right. Great. Love the webinar. Love the honesty. Feel like we're getting to know you better. Thanks for the work. I know it takes time and energy to put these things together. It is appreciated. Yeah, took a lot of time to put this together. A lot. Hagar, yes, I have a lot more focus and a lot more resources thanks to you guys. I'll be checking out Path and Dark Side. Yeah, Dark Side's awesome. Really like what he's done. The true indicator course that we all needed, that we never had access to. Brian, do you know when you'll be starting your next course? By the way, guys, the date on this is 11/9/2019 for anybody who watches this in the future. The recording, I know a lot of people will be watching this later. So if Brian/Darkside gives a date, you guys will know, and I'll say the time. Great information, thank you. You're welcome. Oh, and yeah, on you guys' trading, don't be calling out your entries and exits at that moment in time. It creates a frenzy. Nice. Let me make these a little bit bigger, Rusty, so people in the video can see them. Okay, so that's one. The other one. Good stuff. New class will start in January. There you guys go. So January 2020 is Darkside's new class. I will definitely be taking that class. Count me in. By the way, I am doing all the stuff for free, but if you feel that you want to thank me in cash, buy me a beer, buy me a dinner, whatever it is, that's my Venmo account. You can send money there. A lot of the guys in Pro, when they have hit a big time trade, they will send me a percentage of their trade as their thank you. So I work more as a pay it forward type of person. So by no means are you obligated to send me any money whatsoever. I know a lot of you guys are struggling, but if you guys send me some stuff, I do appreciate it. I also do ask that if you do make $100,000 and I have a hand in that and you want to thank me, send me 10K. So, yeah. Six months of technical analysis and 6 months of options, then I will go into fundamentals. So one of the things that really I'm just curious about with dark side stuff is understanding options trading, because there are some of our stocks that have options on it. For example, XNet has options on it and you can short that stock. And I know a few of my friends who have shorted that stock, and the sooner it falls apart, the quite a bit more money they're going to make. So we do get options tradings in our small caps trades sometimes. So that's also another option to be able to trade some of these stocks. Just got to check on them. So I have no knowledge of options at this moment, but definitely want to utilize that as a different tool to be able to trade with. Now, money for beer works for me. I'm fine with that. Buy me some dinner. Maybe one day we'll all meet in person. I don't want to cut the recording yet because you guys are still typing. And I don't see your Venmo. There's my Venmo. What's the difference? Points from pennies. Oh, that's for dark side. Thank you. I would like to do peanut too. Not sure what training. Not sure much. Cool. All right. So I think we've moved off from any topics of this to dark side's classes. I'm going to end it up unless you guys have any more questions. Going to wrap up. One more thing. Thanks again. You're welcome. Posted, pay it forward in general chat. Thank you, Josh. By the way, you guys all can thank Josh for dragging me kicking and screaming to be a part of this. I was not going to release my reverse stock split. I wasn't going to teach it. I wasn't going to do it. You guys are a very persuasive guy. So thank Josh. Thank you, Josh. Who, me? Yeah, you. Yeah, you, Josh. You. Funny guy. Okay, so January 2020 is when Dark Side's class is going to be. So if you guys want to sign up, get into contact with him. Brian's very nice, as you guys can see. He's always in these chat rooms, putting his time into it, which is super cool. He doesn't have to do this. He likes to do it. All right, cool. Any last questions? Going once, going twice. LP, yes, thanks to all three of you for taking time from your families to lend us a more efficient success for trading path. Awesome. You're welcome, LP. Best of luck to you, Chris, Josh, Darkside. Apologies. Thanks for the advance for the future. New questions. You're more than welcome to new questions. Those are the best. Smith, we talked that one. That one. Blocked it. All right, cool. How to block Thinkorswim. I got all my questions answered. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Yep. So we'll see what happens the next year when I do another review. Year in review. I think like the biggest challenge, everything is creating this network, this social network, creating this. This has been like one of the biggest things missing, is how to find people who are all on the exact same path and being apart. If I don't get $1 plus moved in a trade, it was a waste of time for me. Boom. Yeah, especially legit people. Be careful who you guys invite, by the way, into the room. Don't want to have to kick people out. Yeah, Fit Girl's awesome. She's done a lot of work. She's really awesome. Allie Angel. She's really awesome. She's done a ton of work. She was able to take my teachings and really run with it. So good stuff. There she is. You're awesome. Sykes is watching you, Tango. God, I hope not. Well, I promoted him. I just promoted him. So if he's upset with me, I promoted everybody to buy his DVDs. But I also gave him critique. So maybe he'll hate me. Yes, do not mention this room in other people's rooms. That would be the worst. You can talk privately amongst other traders about it. If you guys want to talk on Twitter, that's fine. Don't be talking about this room in other people's rooms. It's like the worst. That's just worst. All right, cool. I want to wrap this up. Stop recording.